I am the Doctor, this is my section. Earth is under my protection. Planet of birth is Gallifrey. I've got two hearts, your life is saved. Run into the Master Raw, Missy. Come on, Alonzo. Alonzi. I am a Time Lord. No, I'm not rich. 12 bodies a man. Now it's time for a switch. Don't look like that. I'm in great health. You were expecting someone else. Regeneration. Oh, such fun. When I say run, run, run. What's up, my boy? Peace and sanity. Sorry, mustache. Reverse the polarity. Sometimes I'm north, but always a limey, wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. Jump in the TARDIS, go for a ride, it's bigger on the inside. Exploring all of time and space, oh what's that? Exterminate. Would you like a jelly baby? Time's ticking, we'd best go, a new adventure, Geronimo! I am fantastic, so are you, best come with me, I'm Doctor Who. Welcome to a brand new episode of D4WH. I am one of your hosts. In 5 billion years I will be dead. I'm Adam O'Sullivan.
Oh, Adam, that's just such a lovely thought to start the
downer.
day.
Well, you know.
I'll be dead too, so.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's solidarity.
We can be dead together. I just wanted to ask how you were.
Fantastic. What a day, you know.
No, because we just had the election.
That's right. It's kind of fitting the day after the election to be doing an episode called The End of the World.
Yes, because it does feel like it.
Yeah.
Yes. True.
Joining me as always, she came first in jiggery pokery. It's Nicchia Schutz.
Ooh,
how are you?
I'm good. Jiggery pokery is what I'm very good at.
Yes.
I'm very pleased that they've called out that skill and science set on Doctor Who.
I mean, you played with my phone and it doesn't work, but I assume it calls 5 billion years in the future.
It does.
Oh,
it
cool.
does, yeah.
It just doesn't light up anymore.
Yeah, and you probably won't get any calls from anyone else. But yeah, jiggery pokery.
Jiggery pokery, fantastic. Today we are joined by the last human to appear on this podcast. It's Jasmine Fairbairn.
Oh, it's me. I'm so
Hello.
excited. Hello. Thank you for using references to this specific episode,
Yes.
as I've never seen any other one. So I'm like, oh, I know what they're talking about.
Yay! You're a Whovian now.
I am.
No,
and
that's it.
also, here's the thing is, like, you guys are like, oh, I'll be dead in 5 billion years. I'm like, who knows if I'll be dead tomorrow? Like, you guys have got a really good longevity happening there.
Yeah.
We're optimists.
In this episode, Rose goes, oh, my mum's dead. She's 5 billion years in the past. Like, yeah, did you expect her to live to be 5 billion years
exactly.
old?
I had that exact thought when it happened. I was like, oh, yeah, like everything is.
Yeah.
Like, stop being so selfish,
Imagine
Rose.
if her mum comes in and she's like, I live to be 5 billion years old. You'd be like, oh, shit.
That's weirder.
Yeah.
She does not give one thought to Mickey, her boyfriend,
No, of course not.
who's now dead as well, who she
Right.
left on Earth.
Right. Well, she clearly doesn't care. She
No,
just
she
left him
doesn't.
on Earth.
No, they're
She
already
doesn't.
setting up that, oh, you like the Doctor.
Oh, my God. Okay. We'll get into that.
The 900-year-old man. Jasmine, would you like to your history with Doctor Who? What do you have a history with?
Okay, so my history of Doctor Who started at 8 o'clock this morning.
Oh, awesome.
When I started watching the one episode. I've heard of it, and I think my dad used to watch it because
Okay.
the theme song is incredibly familiar. Yeah. But my dad also used to. I never watched anything my dad watched because he used to watch like Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, yes.
And I'm deeply, deeply scarred by that.
Oh.
Deeply.
Why? Why?
Well, I think I was 7, and that the theme music to Unsolved Mysteries still terrified. That guy's
Oh,
voice.
yes.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
I get
nah,
that. I get that.
Nah, I can't handle it.
It's funny that my mum complains when we watch The Simpsons. Well, when my nephew was younger, she used to complain that we'd watch The Simpsons. She goes, it's absolute trash. And meanwhile, she's watching, like, CSI.
Yeah.
and Law and Order around him. And,
Right.
like, you know, they're
This is
talking
fine.
about people being, you know, murdered. So...
Yeah, they use the word rape kit.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
you should go into that.
No.
Yeah,
That shouldn't be a baby's first word.
that's right.
It's not a word I use in general conversation, personally.
No,
No.
you shouldn't. No, you're obviously from Canada. I know
Yeah.
that's not a revelation that
No.
on this podcast.
What, you're from Canada?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, right.
Shit, I thought she was from, Sunshine Coast. I didn't know that.
So obviously, because we're one of the colonies out here,
Right.
Doctor Who is kind of part of our culture, if not as big in the UK. Is it part of the culture in Canada, or?
I think so. I think like we're more influenced by American culture, and American culture like tends to deviate as far as possible from the UK culture because
Yeah.
they're angry or something. And or I don't
But
know.
they won the war. They should get
Uneducated.
over it.
I'm not
Yes,
sure.
yes.
We did burn down the White House at one point, which I'm still proud of. I wasn't
Yeah.
there. But it was good. And so I've heard of Doctor Who. I know that friends of mine liked Doctor Who, but it was way more of a cult thing than like a mainstream. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Well, I mean, that's why we invited you here. So if you'd just like to start drinking the Kool-Aid, that'd
Excellent.
be great.
I'm in.
Fantastic.
Kool-Aid drunk.
Let's start as we always do with Doctor Who news. Now, previously on the show, we've mentioned the Doctor Who VR experience. Have you had any experience with virtual reality?
No, I find reality also difficult enough. I don't need to virtualize it. But my roommate does have a VR. My kids are obsessed.
Oh, right.
Obsessed.
Does he have like a PlayStation VR?
Yeah. Yeah, and so they do the shark one
Yep.
and the...
Yep, I've got that one
Yeah.
as well.
Which is you've had the Simone from Sharks do the shark one, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
we did.
yeah,
we
I've mentioned
did.
on our podcast.
She was telling us on our podcast.
Yeah, she was really excited about that. I was not in the room because, again, I find reality hard enough. But,
She was hiding under a bed.
You don't subscribe to Elon Musk's idea that we're probably already in the Matrix?
well, if we are, this is hard enough. I don't need to add another layer of difficulty.
And the worst thing would be if you unplug from the Matrix and go, oh, fuck, this is worse.
Oh, totally. Every time I watch The Matrix when he does that, I'm like, well, this is a mistake, isn't it?
Well, that's the motivation of one of the bad guys. He's like, I just want to eat steak.
Yeah.
I just want to know. I just want to pretend that steak is real steak.
Yeah, I want to pretend that steak is real steak. And then also, how do I know that this... Wait a minute. How do I know that this
It
is
just
steak?
keeps unplugging you.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Damn
God. It just keeps getting
Another
shittier.
layer of shit.
You unplug what you think is the final level, and you're like, oh, actually, this is not too bad. What? The Liberals won? God damn it, unplug me again. Unplug me again.
Keep unplugging.
Okay, but there's a Doctor Who VR experience called The Runaway. Well, it's now available on Oculus and Vive headsets, which are on PC.
Have you tried it?
No, it's only available in the UK, obviously, as most Doctor Who things are.
Damn them.
What does it do? Like, if it's a VR, what you solve problems? You are the doctor?
So basically, the experience sees the user in the TARDIS with Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor, helping her to return an alien named Volta back to their home planet after they run away from home. Volta is an Engarian, a being of pure energy who becomes unstable when they're not in their home galaxy. The experience goes for about 13 minutes, and whilst the player can't move anywhere to explore the TARDIS, you can look around and interact by helping to fly the TARDIS through a junk field and picking up toys to try and soothe Volta. So basically, Jodie gives you the sonic screwdriver, and you just kind of stand there and you're like using the sonic screwdriver. Yeah.
That sounds a bit boring.
I feel like I am one of these beings because I also feel fairly unstable when I'm not on my home planet. So.
Oh, you're going to condense into a black hole and suck us all in?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you never know.
Do you reckon the Australian fans are going to figure out a way to bring it
probably.
possibly illegally to Australia?
Like most things that have to be brought to Australia illegally.
Yeah, like Pistol and Boo. Oh, sorry. No, I was talking about Johnny Depp.
In the 2000s, they brought out a bunch of adventure games, and within hours of them being released in the UK, here's how to get it in the other countries. Because basically the program would check to see if you were in the UK, because obviously they pay the license fee for the BBC over there. So it's free, but only if you're in the UK and you've paid your BBC license fee.
Isn't that just what VPNs and stuff are for? So you can pretend that you're in the UK.
Basically,
Yeah.
Not giving anyone any ideas.
I don't understand how the whole BBC pay thing works.
So basically, if you buy a TV in the UK, and you don't have a license fee, then they send you a thing, and they're like, "Hey, noticed you bought a TV and you don't have a license fee. You want to buy that license fee, eh?"
And then people are like, "I'm going to do the right thing," and then they buy a license fee.
Yeah.
Basically,
Wow, that wouldn't work over here, would it?
No. We would all be finding ways to get around the license.
Oh my gosh.
fee. You know what Australians say? Well, hey, we're criminals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Runs deep.
That's why most of us got sent over to Australia, because we didn't pay our license fee.
The BBC is a powerful place.
Too powerful, I say.
As opposed to the ABC, that's just like, I've got $5. We can't even afford Chris Lilly anymore.
Would anyone from Australia like to send us another $5?
While the experience is disappointingly short, it hopefully proves that how fun a Doctor Who full VR game would be.
You know what I'd like?
What?
I'd like a VR experience where I just get to walk through the TARDIS as many
that'd be
rooms as
great.
I can get to.
Right.
That would be fantastic because I've never seen it's infinitely big.
Yeah, you could put whatever you wanted in there.
Yeah.
Maybe you could build your own.
Yeah.
Well, there are
just the
fan-made
imagination.
VR games where you can explore the TARDIS.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should get into that.
So because the headsets are about $1,000 each, the BBC is taking their headsets to different libraries around the UK so that people who don't have the headsets can experience it as well. So there's a Doctor Who experience. You can also be on a bomber during like the Berlin Blitz.
Oh, wow.
And you can also explore the Congo. So there's a few different experiences that you can do, on the headsets.
I wonder if they have an experience where my mother loves me and takes care of me. Is that available?
Yeah, you might have to come up with that yourself.
Yeah, darn. It seems like my whole life. Yes, Adam, that is exactly how it is. See, again, reality is hard enough.
Look, VR, you can just see things. You can't feel things.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, you know what?
So,
you've just given me a layer of why.
Like normal life, you can see things, but you can't feel things.
I'm dead inside.
If you take enough medication, we're all a little dead inside.
Take enough Valium and everything is a VR experience.
So, we have watched The End of the World.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Sorry.
And I feel fine.
Yeah, me too. It was written by Russell T Davies. And it was directed by Euros Lyn. He's directed a lot of Doctor Who episodes. This was his very first one, and I love his
this is his very first one.
Yeah,
okay.
his very first Doctor Who. Okay, so this was originally aired on the 2nd of April 2005 in the UK. Now, I'll give you a quick synopsis. It's the year 5 billion, or what is it, Adam?
5.5/Apple/26.
Yeah, which I've never understood. It's the year 5 billion, and the Ninth Doctor has brought his new companion, Rose Tyler, to the year 5 billion to see the sun expand and destroy the Earth.
As you do.
Yeah, well, as you do. The observation deck space station, Platform 1, is holding an event with the richest beings of the time observing the Earth's destruction. But mysterious metal spiders, gifted by the adherents of the repeated meme to the other guests, are secretly infiltrating and sabotaging the station. Ooh. So the first thing I'd like to say is basically the Doctor and Rose are on their first date.
Right.
And he takes her to watch her home explode.
I mean, it's a nice way for, she lives on a council estate, so I'm sure,
She's seen her home explode many times.
Yeah.
I don't know how they made the connection between going from something really placid, like 100 years into the future. Or, I don't remember the second one where he takes
10,000 years.
Yeah, and then he's just like,
it's
so like, nice. It's just like, 100 years into the future. And then it just goes full 100% weirdness to, I'm going to take you to watch your planet die.
Yeah, that's because testosterone kicked in.
Yeah, well, I think he looks at Rose and he's like, "Oh shit, you're a freak. Let's do this.
Get
Let's
freaky.
go." Yeah.
Let's get freaky.
I love when they're like, "If you walk outside there, it's 100 years in the future," and they're like, "Yeah, no, I don't need to walk outside." And the BBC's like, "Woo, don't have to do that set piece."
We'll be cutting that scene and that scene.
Yeah. We'll just refer to them 100 years in the future. We won't show them.
Yeah.
Yes, as a fellow writer, Jasmine, you will know that there are some times when you go, and God, we can avoid that. It's fantastic.
Unfortunately.
First dates. Who's had the worst first date here? Do you
I
reckon?
haven't ever been on like a proper date, so
Oh my God! Wow.
You win.
Start on the wrong foot.
But does she? Does she? Honestly,
Yeah.
first dates suck. So
Yeah.
you might have just like dodged
Yeah.
massive bullets
Yeah,
there.
you could. So my worst one was a blind date. His name was Michael, and I said to him, "Would you like me to call you Mick, Mike, Mikey?" He said, "Michael's fine." He said, "What would you like me to call you?" As a joke, I said, "Ms. Schutt," and he said, "Okay."
Oh no!
So I knew this was not going to go well.
Yeah.
Then he took me to the movies, and it was Blue Velvet.
Oh wow!
Yeah, which is a movie about sadomsexual masochism on a first date.
Pretty full on.
I didn't go for coffee later.
Back before I was fat, I went on pretty much the same date twice in 1 month with two different girls.
Oh, really? What happened?
We went to see Twilight.
Wow.
God, you had to see it twice.
wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even see it once. Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I saw
Twilight.
it once and wanted not to have seen it.
Yeah.
The only saving grace was there's one scene where there's Muse playing in the background.
Yeah.
That's about it. I love Muse.
Supermassive black hole.
Yeah. Sorry, Sam.
I don't have first dates. What I like to do is just meet someone and then move in with them immediately.
Oh, fantastic.
Hey, that's a good idea.
So that's what I do. Just lock it down. Lock it straight down for visa
Here's
purposes.
all the things I'll be putting around your house.
Do you like this table? Let's move in. Yeah.
It's always a little weird, but you know.
Yeah, I don't really have first dates. We just...
Oh, you were married very young.
Yeah, I was married when I was together with my long-term marriage dude for 20
That's the official term.
22
Long-term
years.
marriage,
That's the lawyer term. For 22 years.
Wow.
And then I had a few boyfriends before then, but because we were so young, there was never like a date.
Yeah.
You know, like I had a date once with a guy, but it was just to get back at a previous boyfriend. So I didn't really care or pay attention to the date in any way. He was Mexican and hot. And I was just like, shh, baby, let's just go to the place where my ex is. That's all I care about.
Oh, wow.
Shushies. Close that mouth.
Let's not speak.
Just stare intently at me as I feel the force of my ex's gaze. That is your only purpose here right now.
Stand there, be hot.
Yeah, stand there, be pretty. Thank you, bye.
Well, I have to admit, I have been in a relationship with the guy just because he was so pretty.
Oh.
He wasn't the cleverest. He wasn't stupid, but,
Are you talking about this podcast?
Yeah. Adam and
It's
I.
Adam.
He was just so pretty.
Oh my god.
Can't help
Thank
it.
you so much.
Can't help it. Not the brightest, but so pretty. Oh, you.
I just spent the whole time at the podcast staring at him going, you're so pretty.
I don't notice because I'm just staring at myself in a mirror.
As you would.
Going,
As you would.
I'm so pretty.
Now, do we think that the year 5.5/Apple/26 is named after the fruit or after the daughter of Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow?
I thought it was just like Apple, the company.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I think they say when they mean Apple? That they took over the world.
Yeah.
Ah.
Because it is, if it's 2005, that's when they were really starting to get a stranglehold on things.
Well, later on they mention another year and there's cup in the middle of it. So,
Very strange.
and if you want to feel old, Apple Martin is 15 years old.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't realize until I looked it up last night and I was like, fuck off.
Wow, 15.
She's 15 and she has not changed her name.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Well, give her a year.
Well, her mum runs Goop, so you know.
Yeah, they stick a lot of stuff in places that they shouldn't there.
Yeah. So the episode before is when she first meets the doctor.
Right. I saw the previously on.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
yes, yeah.
And then she doesn't really get to know him that well.
Right.
And then she runs off with him to see the world.
Again, I can relate. This is kind of basically how I find my boyfriend.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, and then just move in.
You're Rose.
Meanly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just sort of abandon the previous and jump in and just be like, oh, well, here we go. 5 billion years in the future? Sure.
Yeah.
I brought my table. Yeah. I'm moving in.
So Rose could just spend her days living on platform 1 or whatever.
Yeah, I love the fact that they actually, for the first time, and I will talk about that later, but for the first time ever, they show a companion actually reacting how
Freak
I
out,
think you
yeah.
normally would if you saw a room full of
Aliens. Right.
You know, she's looking a little off center and a bit.
Yeah, this is a bit odd.
Yeah, yeah.
So, is there going to be a Doctor Who episode where, like, Rose sits the Doctor down and is like, "What is our relationship, and where is this going? Are we going to get married?
Oh no, we
Do
never
we have
that.
kids?
No, we never.
Do they have
that.
sex?
No.
Oh,
She
no.
deals with it in the normal way that everyone deals with their relationship. She
Right.
gets stuck in a parallel dimension with a half-human version of the Doctor.
Oh my God, are they like writing my life? What
Yeah,
the
yeah,
hell?
Yeah, she roots him. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So sorry, say that again. So she gets stuck in
a parallel dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a half-human clone of the Doctor.
Oh, so that they can bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And died together.
Oh, because he doesn't. Yeah.
I should also mention not this Doctor, the next Doctor.
Yeah.
Which is a woman.
No,
next one's David Tennant.
He's a
David
pretty
Tennant.
guy.
This guy was from Shallow Grave.
Yes,
which
that's
I
correct,
truly
yeah.
enjoyed.
Then there's another Doctor, then another Doctor, and now we have the woman.
So it was like 4 doctors ago.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The first thing we see, which we've never seen, not even from Classic Who, is the psychic paper.
Oh.
Did you know that the psychic paper was new?
No, when I first watched this series, I thought it was a classic thing.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
First time I'd ever seen it, you worked out what the psychic paper was. They kind of explain it in this one, don't they?
Well, they do explain it, but also it makes sense. Like what I did like about Doctor Who, especially like this episode, is that it's great that they can just kind of he's a MacGyver of everything,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything is believable, which
Yeah.
is great and also annoying.
Yeah.
So as a writer, you just get to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like,
There's plenty of those sorts of things. The sonic screwdriver now just does everything.
just everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so it can be a bit like that. But
It's funny because it changes too. So in this episode, he says, the psychic paper shows them what I want them to see.
Yeah.
But in the most recent season, it basically shows them what they need to see for the Doctor to just be able to do
whatever he
Yeah.
wants.
Because in one episode, because now she's a woman, she shows it and they're like, haha, you're the assistant whatever, because you're a woman. And she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
it's
God damn it.
Yeah.
There is an episode in the new one where she goes back to where they're killing the witches.
Right.
And the doctor makes this comment. She says, God, if they're not patronising you to death, they're drowning you.
Yeah.
And I thought that's my life.
Yep, I feel that.
Poor Adam just feels really segregated at the moment in a room full of women.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
okay.
I really feel like me as a white male needs more representation.
Yeah. Let's give him his space and his time to talk, guys.
Yeah, okay.
Shut up, Adam. Okay.
What did you think of Face of Bo?
I don't know who that is. Is that the big...
It was a
tank?
giant head in the tank with
Right.
like gonads coming off him.
Cool.
As hair.
He gets pregnant at some point.
Does he?
I don't know how that works.
Okay.
The Mox of Valhoon.
The little blue penis head guy.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Played by Jimmy V. It was
He
his
didn't
first
die?
role.
Oh yeah, he died.
did.
Yeah.
He did die.
He got incinerated.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah.
He's the one who gives the
Spit.
bodily gift of spit.
Right.
In Peace and Goodwill.
So, okay, let me just wrap my head around this.
Yeah.
Because you can go back and see him because he was incinerated, but you can go into different time zones and see him again. So we might see he's in future episodes.
yeah,
is
yeah.
what
Oh,
you're
the Face of Bo. No, the Face of Bo lived. We
Okay.
don't see the Mox of
of
Valhoon again.
Again.
Everyone always has to have weird names.
Yeah.
Although technically Russell T Davies wanted a couple of Balhoolians, should have been Balhooligans, but anyway, in a later episode, like the Shadow Proclamation, and they couldn't. Budget cuts, couldn't
Budget.
have two
Did you
blue
Did you
penis.
feel like you were walking into the Star Wars cantina?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Thank you.
And the whole, like, with the whatever, the piece of paper that shows them whatever they want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just
paper.
like, these are not the droids that show
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
You know?
I was thinking more of like it was a Star Wars cosplay competition.
They were doing a good job.
Yeah. Because there's a couple of guys with just like bird heads on.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, we're bird heads.
I liked the trees. I thought they were very
Oh yeah,
they
the
were
trees
cool.
were very well
Good.
done.
I loved it because it looked like it was like Star Trek, where Shatner goes down, solves a problem, bangs the head girl, walks away.
I mean, it's the first time I've been attracted to a tree.
Yeah. I don't know. Groot's pretty hot. So.
So. True.
I gotta say, not for me.
I like them tall and thin and spiky.
Splinters.
Splintery.
Oh my god.
Yes, Jabe is lovely. I really like her. But what do we all think of what ends up being us? The last human. The Lady
Cassandra.
Lady Cassandra, the
O'Brien.
stretched out.
Have we seen her before?
No, this is the first time.
She comes
back?
She comes back, yeah.
After exploding, which I never really got.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't remember how she came back.
She does come back.
Yeah, she does. She body switches.
Oh.
She switches bodies.
With Rose.
And
with
and
Rose.
the doctor.
And the Doctor.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so what did we think of our last human? What do we think of our representation, people?
I think it's pretty accurate.
So,
Sad, isn't it?
Russell T Davies created Cassandra after he was watching the Academy Awards. And he realized like all of these beautiful women were being forced to be stick thin.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, this is disgusting. He used Nicole Kidman as an example. He's like, she's a beautiful woman. And they're just like, be thinner, be thinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you be any thinner?
Did you know, here's the thing, is this always got me. I realized this a couple of years ago. I was reading Bridget Jones's diary. And you know in Bridget Jones's diary, she goes on and on about how fat she is, right? And I actually, because it was in the book, it's written in stones, right? So I don't understand the measurement of stone.
Yeah.
So I looked it up and I was like, Jesus Christ, she's my weight.
Oh, shit. And
Yeah,
she's going
come
how
on,
fat
she's-
she is.
She's my weight and 2 inches shorter than me. And it's like, oh, and all she does is go on and on about how fat she is. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like I'm a normal. I'm
Yeah.
a normal.
Yeah.
You're
I'm a normal
absolutely-
size of normal.
Yep.
Right? And it's just like, honestly, the other day somebody said, I'm a bit worried about you because you're looking too thin. And I'm like, well, I've hit goal weight then, haven't I? Right? Concern from your friends? Tick, right?
And then they cast Renee Zellweger, one of those beautiful women on the planet. You
Yes.
know, like
Who is so thin, it makes me sick.
And then she had to gain
watch her.
all that weight, and then
Yeah.
she went and got all that facial surgery. So she looks.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's not that she doesn't look beautiful, but she looks like every other beautiful
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
She doesn't look like Renee Zellweger.
Yeah.
She looks like every other beautiful woman, and it's just like, oh, that's a shame because
Yeah.
all those things that you changed about yourself were the things that people liked and identified
Yeah,
about you.
it's like the woman from Jennifer Grey from Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
She got her nose fixed.
no,
and-
but she got into a huge car accident.
Oh, yeah, she did. That's right.
yeah,
with
and that's why.
Matthew Brodge.
Yeah, that's why she
She
had
still
to.
kind of does look like her
Not
now,
as
though.
not as much. I loved
Yeah,
her.
not as much.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I recently, she was a guest star on an episode of Grey's Anatomy
Yeah.
not too
Oh,
long
okay.
ago, and
Yeah.
she still looks really good for her age.
well, that's like. Have you seen Patrick Swayze recently? He looks nothing like he used to.
Bastard!
He's quite- He's quite dried out.
rolling
Yeah,
his
yeah,
quite
he's
dried
quite
out.
dead.
Yeah, he's quite dead.
Yeah.
Quite dead.
Yeah, and they told me they gave me a restraining order against his grave, but
Yeah.
I'll
At what
go
point?
back and see him.
At what point does it become archaeology and not grave robbing? You know what I mean?
I don't know. There must be.
There's like a time
There's gotta
frame
be like
there.
a cutoff. And somebody
I'll bring
goes,
it up in my next court case and see if that helps. You know. At what point,
At what point,
Your Honour,
sir?
does it become archaeology? What's that? Guilty. Fair call. Fair call.
It's been 10 years, so I'd say you've got a good case for
Too
yourself.
soon? Too soon?
No, not soon enough.
When you still have family, I
Yeah.
think is
Right.
Yeah, I think so. Family living.
You've made me sad now. You're making me bring up.
We're gonna have to go watch
Patrick Swayze.
Dirty Dancing later.
I loved
Yeah,
him. I thought he was
and
lovely.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Ghost.
We're just making fun of all dead people.
Beck, just
Really.
remember, in 5 billion years, we'll all be dead.
Yeah, you too.
She had the same reaction as Rose did.
Yeah.
Shock and surprise.
Yeah, and Rose was like, but what about me?
It isn't fair.
No, Rose, everyone's dead. It's like Red Dwarf. Yes,
they're
Dave,
still
everyone's
alive.
dead. But what about Blah? Yes, Dave, he's dead too. But what
What about Peterson?
Yeah, he's dead.
What about you?
They're all dead,
That-
Dave.
Everybody is dead, Dave.
I love that. Okay, so what did we think of, first of all, the iPod?
Right.
And the
love it.
choice of the two, did you notice the two
Yeah.
very popular songs that were
Classic human songs.
classic human songs?
I love that with 5 billion years to select music from, they select it from a small period of like 25 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
One from the 80s, one from the 2000s.
Yeah.
I'm quite sad that Tainted Love has survived this long.
I love Tainted Love.
I was singing along the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was too.
I love the doctor's dancing. Where he's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's just giving it, and you're like, it's like uncle at a wedding, drunk.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like that in this episode you see quite a lot of contrasts. You see that dancing, enjoying it, giving people air from his lungs.
Yes.
I like
Yeah.
when Jave goes, oh, that's so intimate.
And it's funny that we're supposed to be like, oh, the doctor's crazy for giving people the air of his lungs, but then the guy's like, I'm going to spit on you. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's
Oh,
actually
cool.
totally fine.
yeah. I like the way Rose goes.
Yeah, it's actually weird that other people just brought other things. Like, here's a cutting from my grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of his toenails.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always bring a cutting from my grandfather anywhere I go.
Yeah, it's got
but-
you in so much trouble.
Yeah, I know.
It's hard to get through customs.
Yeah. You just can't go overseas
Yeah.
with your gifts.
That's my
anymore.
grandfather's lucky finger, and I'll have it back, thank you very much. Yes, I know it's full of cocaine.
But it's on a key ring.
It's just like how Cassandra was saying how everyone bought the little robots in tax-free by sneaking them in. I was just like, does she have to pay customs or taxes to bring them onto the ship or something?
So with gifts, obviously you don't. I don't know.
Well, she gives out those tax-free, but then if you go back to her room, she's got a shitload of booze.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's
it's
like,
all
"Ooh."
duty-free.
Where does it go?
The booze.
The booze.
The booze.
They
when
just
she
spray it on
drinks
her.
it.
Down your throat.
It just goes straight into her pores.
Straight to a blood.
It's moisturizer.
Yeah.
It's half moisturizer, half scotch. Yeah. So as she dries out, she also dries out and gets sober.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's like, I can't deal
That's
with
why
this.
she explodes.
Yeah, that's why she has red cheeks and explodes. Yeah.
It's terrible.
Oh dear.
I know how she feels.
Well, let me just say that Cassandra is a controversial figure within the Doctor Who universe.
Right.
Because she is the very first transgender character to ever appear on an episode of Doctor Who. Because there's a throwaway line where she's talking to Rose and she goes, "That's where I grew up as a little boy."
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, she
Yes.
does too.
They do refer to her as Michael Jackson as well. So this like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah.
reference doesn't date well, does
yeah,
it?
no, not in the last year. But yes, sorry.
Oh, and then there's a blue Oompa Loompa kids running around, so that doesn't help either.
Keep them away.
Yes. Keep them away from Cassandra's sweet. But yeah, basically the fact that the first transgender character in the series is the bad guy who is using the bad guy to further her surgeries.
Right.
Yeah, it's not seen as a very good representation.
Well, and also the reference to Michael Jackson, I don't want to
Yeah,
imply
yeah.
that
Yeah.
that's tied into
Yeah.
anything to
no,
do
no,
with
of course not. No,
Yeah.
But I get the feeling that probably Russell T Davies was, showing support for the transgender community, and just, it just happened to fit with this because,
And it's not really, it's really underplayed, that transgender thing. It's more just about the fact that it talks about our biases, because she is the ultimate One Nation supporter or Trump supporter, isn't she? She's the I stayed pure.
yes, oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of them are mongrels, and I'm, so she's she's a dick.
Was it something that was brought up when the episode was released, or was it something that in
No,
recent
something
years
that's
it's-
happened, recently.
Yeah, that's happened since.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like it was 2005, so it was a different conversation
Oh, yeah,
happening at the
definitely.
time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
And it's only mentioned in this
It's
episode.
amazing how
and
our
one of the reference
conversations have
books.
changed in, 10,
well,
12
and you
years?
can't retroactively go back. I mean, that's a big thing right now that people are retroactively going back and punishing someone for something that they said. And I think that there is a varying degree, but clearly it was a throwaway line in support, like you said, Adam.
Yeah.
And also, I think that it wouldn't be such an issue if there had been more transgender characters in the
Right.
series since then.
Yeah.
And there really hasn't.
No, there's been one, the bodyguard who
Well,
was...
that's a transgender actor who was on the show, but her character wasn't transgender.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So it's a little bit different. And the only other transgender characters, there's been one in the audio plays and one in the novelization of the first episode.
Oh, really?
Mickey has a transgender roommate who they're in a band together called Bad Wolf.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, and that was also written by Russell T Davies. So Russell T Davies has actually written half of all the transgender characters
Right.
in the series,
But here's the thing is it's really difficult as a writer. I'll say this: it's really difficult to try and represent a group without falling into a trap, because generally, if you're using a token person, right, you are going to cause offense and cause trouble. And especially if you are not. That's why we need more transgender writers and that kind of thing to
definitely.
represent themselves, as opposed to like the secondary representation is never going to go well, because you haven't lived that life, and B, if you are just putting in one token person, you're definitely going to get into trouble.
What's the point?
Because then you're like, this one person represents this entire group of people.
And they're evil.
If you want to put it in this perspective, this recent series, from 2018, was the first series of Doctor Who to have people of colour writing for the show.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so if we want to know how far behind we were, that's
And a female doctor.
and only the second time in the whole series that they've had an episode written and directed by a woman.
Right.
Yeah.
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 So they're catching up.
Yeah, they're catching up. They're doing it very slowly. But I
Yeah.
just thought I'd mention that. We had a little conversation
we're
about
being preached to with this new season of Doctor Who.
Oh, that's what they tell us. They tell us that it's very PC and it's preaching to us the new season.
Is it? That's interesting, because I know a few people who are older Whovians, and I can see that would be exactly their thoughts. And it's like, oh, well, but you're a 60-year-old white man,
Yes.
so of course you feel preached to, you poor dear. You've been represented your whole life, and now you're not anymore. Oh,
It's like
dear.
Carrie Ann Kennelly being like, vote for the Liberals.
Yeah.
The Labour can't do anything for you, the poor people.
Nobody can do anything for the poor people.
Let's just forget about them and put them in some sort of space somewhere.
Some sort of camp somewhere.
paddock, maybe.
And then we'd have to look at them because it's icky.
No, we could pay money and we could all visit. Yeah.
Ooh. Actually,
People
I would
for a
actually
day.
like to be in a zoo. Can we put me in a zoo? That'd be great.
Someone feeds you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Breeding programs.
Yes.
I don't know if I want people watching my breeding.
Hey, whatever they're into, I will do whatever they want me to.
Oh, Adam, you're so easy.
Yeah, more than zero is still more than what I got right now.
We used to play this game, What Would You Do for $1 Million? Uni, where I had a friend who would just do anything. That's you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For $1 million,
I'm
yes.
just going to cut it down to 500.
Oh no,
dude,
Is that supposed to be a compliment to Adam? Is this like,
Yeah.
you do anything
She's
for
saying I'm a
$1 million?
whore.
Yeah.
I am saying he's a whore.
I think that $1 million, like with the way that the currency is going right now, it's a big drop off of what I would do for $1 million, because $1 million bucks ain't even getting me a house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just making me middle class.
That's right. Not even lower.
$1 million bucks is a deposit on a house.
Yeah,
these
that's
days.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's depressing. Rose freaks out. She goes out.
Yeah.
I like that because every companion seems to just get out of the TARDIS. They're in a new planet, new species, and they're like, yeah, okay, that's
Right.
fine. So it would freak me out.
And it's also interesting because as Whovians, and obviously I've only been a Whovian for this modern series, whereas Nicchia's been for the classic series as well.
Nicchia's really sad and has no life.
So is Adam. There's a built-in desire to want to travel with the Doctor, so it's just kind of given that, oh yeah, we totally, because I didn't realize when I haven't watched this episode for a while, and I watched it again, and I was like, oh, she freaks out.
Yeah.
But as Whovians, it's like, if the Doctor turned up when you want to go travel, like, oh yeah, totally, let's go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but we know what we'd expect.
Yeah.
But yeah, and she doesn't know who he is.
Not really.
Right.
No.
Okay.
And we'd be like, in this episode, you talked about, okay, well, I'm going to leave you here.
Yeah. It'd be like if you were Chris Hemsworth and you had like the biggest fan hanging out with you. It'd be the worst time of your life. Yeah.
That bit in Avengers Endgame when you blah, blah, blah.
Oh my God. And like, how do you get your muscles so big?
You're so pretty.
Can I touch your hair? Can I cut this one bit off?
How's cloning going? Do you know? 'Cause I just want to use this hair.
Just be fine.
Just spit in this.
It's my mouth.
And he'd be like, oh, you know we're dating.
That's a good one.
We could just have sex. And you're like, no, that's fine. Just spit in my mouth for now.
Just spit in my mouth. And then she meets the blue plumber. What did we think of the blue plumber?
Yeah, what was that? It was really throwaway. I don't get it.
Yeah, she was just like the first to die, basically.
Yeah, but this whole like, thank you for giving me permission to talk.
Yeah, it was a bit strange.
I was trying to work out what the point of
Yes.
her was, except to show Rose that the world is very different.
To be honest, I was trying to work out what the point of everything was in this episode, Nicchia, but
Please feel free to say
Is it a thing on slavery? Not slavery, racism? Because all the blue people are subservient to the...
hospitality.
Yeah.
To the Blue Men group.
Yeah. The Blue Men group does not do as well as they thought they would in the future. They become the plumbers.
Yeah.
They do. And the steward. The steward was blue.
Yeah, played by...
I really like the contact lenses.
Oh, yeah, they were cool.
Oh, yeah.
They looked really cool.
Weren't they good?
Played by Simon Day from The Fast Show.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so then she wanders off, the blue plumber.
Let's continue, yeah.
I'm glad everyone else was a bit confused by the blue plumber.
Yeah.
I mean, the actress herself was fine.
She was great.
And there was nothing wrong with it, but I
She
didn't
had
see
that
the point
super
of it.
baggy suit that made her look bigger than she really
Yeah,
was, you know? Like, that
yeah.
was strange.
Yeah.
She was just really friendly, but there was no purpose to her existence in any way.
No.
Like
Except
in
to
any
die.
way.
Yeah,
well,
except to
even
die,
even to die, that wasn't necessary.
No, it
You know,
could have
like-
been anyone else.
Absolutely.
You had
It doesn't
enough
even.
people.
It didn't even need to happen. We knew what was going to happen. These things were going to be evil and bad.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
we didn't need to have that one. No.
They still do it in every episode, even now.
Well, they do it in
okay.
horror movies. There's
Right.
always the first person to die to show, ooh, the killer is actually evil. You
Yeah.
know? Can't be one of the main characters.
I'd
The
definitely
killer's
be that
evil.
person.
Anyone killing anyone, aren't they basically evil?
Yeah, but you have to show the first death to
Yeah.
show that they're evil.
And it's always someone who's like just lost their virginity or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's always the girl who's
So
lost
are
her
we
virginity.
insinuating that the blue plumber just got laid?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought.
yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Well,
I
that's
was
why
like,
she was
oh.
so chipper.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm just gonna get back to work
She's
now.
like, oh, thank you, Mox of Balhoun. I'm just gonna go tend to the pipes, just like I tended to your pipes. Am I right?
Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right?
The spiders come around and they've just got a bouquet of flowers. Like, oh, you guys are really nice.
Turns out these guys are nice.
How did we go from that really crass joke to something really sweet like a little
because I thought about it a while and I had to mention it.
Yeah.
If these jokes don't get said, they get locked in my basement.
In your basement.
Wow.
Like a lot of other things.
Yeah.
These girlfriends that didn't work out.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't worry, honey, it's an escape room adventure.
If you can escape. Hey, does this
can
car
never
smell like
escape.
chloroform?
Yeah.
Just rub the lotion on yourself.
Actually, does it? Ugh, and I pass out myself.
it.
God damn it.
That gets me every time.
I actually did the research, and chloroforming really doesn't work unless you sit there from 3 to 5 minutes
Wow.
of just holding it over
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
face.
the
But
face.
it's one of those things that they do in movies. Like
yeah,
when
it doesn't work straight away.
When you punch someone and they get knocked out and then they they wake up and they're totally fine. Well,
That
if you
also
get,
doesn't-
Yeah, if you
yeah.
get hit and you get knocked out, the longer
probably
you're
dead.
the longer you're out for, the more brain damage you're getting.
Yeah.
basically.
And also, for you to stay unconscious after being chloroformed, like standing there for 3 to 5 minutes waiting for the person to pass out, you have to keep like giving it to them.
That's why anesthesiologists are so important, because
Yeah.
if you can't just give someone a dose and then have them pass out. You have to keep monitoring it.
And that's why I have a whole medical kit in the back of my white van.
Along with the puppies.
Yay!
Also, if you're chloroforming someone, you're having to hold a cloth to their face for 3 to 5 minutes. Are you just suffocating them?
Yeah.
Or are you
Yeah,
what point are they passing out because they're dead of lack of oxygen?
It's quite a tricky science, Jasmine.
yeah.
And if you want to come down to the back of my van later, I'll let you know exactly how it works.
Put on what I like to call the chloroform mask. It's just a name. It's really just a nose.
Just a fun name we give
It's
it.
just a fun name. It's just
a
really just
quirky,
a
fun
really
name.
just a nose thing. It's not really a mask.
It's a brand name, like a Kleenex tissue.
Yeah.
you
Like
know?
Panadol.
Yeah.
What did we think of when the doctor comes to see her and they have that little tete-a-tete?
Pretty realistic.
She gets quite cross with him and he kind of gets quite cross with her. I found it jarred with me, that conversation.
There was a weird jab at the South for some. I didn't
Yeah.
really get that.
Yeah,
where
I
they're
didn't
like,
get that either.
Yeah.
like the South, and I'm like, what?
Well, he's saying that everyone in the South is a racist. And,
Idiot.
Right.
And she's being a racist because everyone's an alien. I
Okay.
think.
All right.
Doctor Who not big in the South.
Well, everyone,
anymore.
you know,
Shocking.
if we go with that logic, the doctor's saying that everyone in the South grew up with systematic racism.
Yeah.
Whereas this is the first time Rose has ever seen
yeah.
aliens. You know.
Yeah.
I think he's a bit harsh with her, and I think she's a bit whiny. I know.
Yeah, I think as a writer watching this, it was like there was a lot of lines that I think people just came in. They had left like a little gap and been
Yeah.
like, put a joke in here, right?
Yeah.
And that was one of them. Just sort of like a throwaway.
Doctor joke.
Doctor joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rose offended by joke.
Yeah.
It felt.
So Russell, when do you think we'll actually get some lines? No. Just
No,
go
it's
with what I
fine.
said.
You got it.
Yeah.
Joke. Offended by joke. No, don't say what I wrote.
Yeah. Don't say the stage directions.
Only because someone did that once.
Right.
While doing a play, read the stage
Yeah.
direction.
Oh, fantastic.
Walks to the bar and starts to drink.
It was something in italics
Yeah.
that they read
Yeah. Love
out.
it.
It was quite
Love
funny.
it.
That sounds like a good idea to make
Yeah.
a whole play where
Yeah.
everyone actually intentionally reads the stage.
To be
would be
honest, I noticed that specifically in this episode, and maybe I'm skipping ahead, but to the steward when he's by himself and about to get
Sun-filtered
rising, he's narrating what he's doing.
Yeah.
And that drives me batshit as a writer. You never sit in a room and narrate what you're doing. You sit in a room and you do talk, but you never go, and now I'm picking up a pencil, and now I'm going to write this note.
Yeah,
right?
unless you're writing a note in a movie, in which case you are definitely narrating.
Narrating,
to yourself.
Yeah.
No, but that's a terrible, lazy way of writing, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
I've got to say that, and I'm just started watching this series again. Now, I loved it because I had been without Who for so long.
Right.
So I was very excited. But now seeing what they did with Tennant, Matt Smith, Jodie, even Capaldi, who was not my favourite Doctor, great actor, not my favourite Doctor, the writing seems really lazy.
Yeah.
in
It's
this
very
first-
lazy.
In this first season altogether.
Yeah, it feels like they're just saying what they're doing. That's
Yeah.
the whole time. There's no undertow of what they're talking about. Like,
Well, otherwise you'd have to spend money on showing.
of course, and I think that's part of it. But you could also have like a little bit of subtlety in the way,
Yeah.
because Rose is like, everyone's dead. You could say something else.
Yeah.
You know?
Everybody's dead, Dave.
But what about my mum?
Everybody's dead. Rose.
What about Kachansky?
Everybody's
Everybody is
dead.
dead, Dave.
The newsagent guy.
I love the fact that bringing down the solar shade,
Sun filter.
the sun filter, which would kill everybody in the room, is just a single button.
Yeah.
Like, imagine accidentally hitting that button and being like, "Oh shit, I could have been completely fried."
And it's like the most easily accessible
Yes.
button, as well as there's no reverse button
Yeah.
to press.
Wouldn't it just be the same button?
You
Just
would
press
think.
it again.
Just
you know.
whoops.
Because I got to
Whoopsie
say,
doodles.
my other one is how in all of these shows, why does somebody put the kill switch somewhere between chopping things, fans? I mean,
big red button.
Workplace health and safety would not be allowing that sort of shit.
The easiest to press button.
Like where the enter key was, basically. Like, oh, enter. Oh, shit. Oh.
I'm just so used to that.
But then he starts yelling at it like it... and we've never seen voice commands in this entire episode. And he's like, sun filter up. Sun filter up. And that's like trying to talk to your GPS where you're like...
Where the fuck are you taking me?
Why do they even have a sun filter? Why is that a thing?
Yeah.
Why
can you take it down?
Why can you take it down?
You should never be able to take down a sun filter.
It doesn't feel like that's ever very safe.
In the depths of space, like, you remember you can take the sun filter down. Why? You can also fill the room with toxins. Oh, fantastic.
Can I open the window, get a breeze?
I just wanted to get a tan.
I think it'd be cooler if, like, the whole ship just had a huge pair of polarized Ray-Bans.
And then just started to slowly rise up.
Just like,
Ray-Bans up.
The Satellite 5, Platform 1. Platform 1 goes, Satellite 5 is another episode. Platform 1 goes...
They reused this
looks
set
like
quite
this,
a few times.
Looks like this event is cooking, and then it puts on Ray-Bans, and it's like...
Oh my
CSI, Platform 1.
I'm still going to say, I do love just that beautiful, calm voice. Sun filter rising.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sun filter rising.
It's like a Sigourney Weaver.
It goes down, and then it's just like, oh, phew, and it goes back up again. And it's like,
yeah.
oh, shit.
No! It's learning.
The voice is so calm. It's like if you're flying a plane and there's a voice, I forget what it's called. I should know. I used to do this, TCAS or something. But it will say to you, ascend, ascend, if there's a plane near you, or descend, descend. And often crashes happen because people think it's broken.
Right.
And they crash into each other. But I would want one to go, for God's sake, get
Holy
up, up. Jesus Christ, Mary, move.
Or at least, I will be lowering the sun filter. Are you sure?
Are you sure you'd like the sun filter lowered?
I can't delete a stupid Word document without answering 17
Exactly.
questions.
Exactly.
A little clip art thing is, it looks like you're trying to lower the sun filter. Do you want to die?
Maybe
really what
that's why they didn't put, like, a safety filter on it, because in the past everyone was getting bloody annoyed with
and they click the
Are
button.
you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, I totally want to do this.
Never ask me this again.
Never ask me if I want to die ever again.
They just tick the box.
Just assume that I want to die.
Yeah, I press the button.
I'm alive in the 5 billion years and I want to die.
Everyone I know is dead, Dave.
But what about the baker?
Yeah.
He's dead. He's dead.
I'm a blue steward. I have to follow these rich people. I want to die.
Yeah. Not even getting paid overtime.
I wonder if Sun Filter Lady voice got as screwed as the woman who did Siri.
Oh,
She-
did she get screwed?
Oh well, she just recorded for a voice group basically, and Apple came along years after the fact and went, "Oh yeah, that voice will do."
And paid her.
Oh,
Wow.
she'd already been paid for the
Right.
work.
Yeah.
You know, they bring her back every now and again to do other words and stuff.
Yeah,
but-
well, if they brought me back as Siri, I'd be like, and this one is $4 million per word.
Yeah.
Actually, we don't need you to say the word California. It's fine. It's fine. We don't need it.
I think you might.
I just like the way Siri mispronounces things.
Yeah.
You know, like Gympie Road is Gympie. Gympie. So every time now we get on Gympie Road, we go, oh, we're on Gympie Road.
Yeah.
Quite fun. And then we have the crispy steward.
My favorite. That's what I usually order at to KFC.
Yeah, I do, a crispy steward.
I love a good crispy steward.
Yeah, me too.
It's like a chicken. It's very good.
Why is it blue?
He's blue. I liked that line that Rose.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
blue. And he was like, yep. And she was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to experience that in this
All right.
day and age. Yeah.
That's happening now.
There's no
Okay.
explanation. There's no like, oh yeah, that's from the blue planet where blah 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 blah. He's just like, yeah, fucking accept it. Jesus, god damn it.
Jesus.
Yeah, I
It's
just,
so embarrassing.
I just think he's a little harsh with her.
Yeah.
I don't know, because then when she's in the room, because you know the sun filter's going to be going up and down in the one room that she's in.
It's not the only thing.
Hello.
I would like to point out that I'm not the one making all the dirty jokes. This episode.
Yeah.
Hey,
For a first-
mine was insinuated. You told the whole bloody story.
That's right. There's subtle and there's Adam.
I love that I'm a setting.
I I just like how he just walks up to girls and go, "You want a root?"
He's a font.
That didn't work.
Excuse me, I only do this on the podcast. When I like a girl, she has no idea, and I sit in the corner and I just look at her and go, "Wow, she's so pretty." Sometimes I make passive-aggressive comments about it on Facebook, so thank you very much.
He's much more subtle than that. He's so subtle it's completely impossible to tell.
Nobody knows. That's what I like. Never let anyone know if you like them.
That's right.
Because they might like you back.
Oh no.
Yeah, that might be even worse.
It is the worst.
I don't have time for a girlfriend.
No, it's terrible. It's not just the time. It's like that. Like it's like, oh, now you like me. Oh God, when will this end? Any minute now.
Yeah.
Does that mean that he likes me less? He might like me less. Oh no.
Now he's going to go off me.
Oh, you like me. There must be something wrong with you.
Classic.
You never want to be in a club that have you as a member.
That's right.
Yeah, so the argument between the Doctor and Rose, that didn't work for me. While he's trying to get the sun filter up and down. Oh, he's just kind of going, oh, right, yeah, you would be in there.
I think that was just a throwaway joke of like, oh,
It really
it
jarred
would be you,
for me.
main character.
Yeah.
Of course it's you in
Yeah.
there that I'm trying to save because now I actually have to save you instead of the steward that I was
Yeah.
like, oh, he's not important
It'd be
enough.
great if it was like the Mox
Yeah, he
at
didn't have
Balhoun and
the
he's like,
steward.
ah, fuck it, don't
Yeah,
worry
I
about
can't-
it. I'll
I can't-
be fine.
I don't have
worry.
the time.
Rose is here, like, I don't need to
We're
worry.
good, we're good.
And they're like, God, Jesus, Doctor, you murdered that man. You could have helped him.
Murder.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
He didn't care.
Accessory.
One's blue, the other one's pretty and 19
that's
and
right.
blonde.
And you'd be speaking to one of the blue guys and he'd be like, thanks?
Yeah.
I stand by my statement.
You're a nice blue person, but a
Exactly.
lot of them we don't like.
Yeah, you're not like the rest of
Yeah,
them.
that's exactly right. I'm yet to meet a blue person, but I am looking forward to it.
It's always good when four white
I
people
know.
talk about racism.
I was just thinking that exact thing. It's like, ha 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 ha. I've never been a victim of this.
Well, let me rub off some of my white paint and I'm blue. Da-ba-dee-da-ba-da. If I was blue...
If we were white men, we would have absolutely no idea about what it's like to be oppressed.
I wonder what that's like.
I'm going to go ahead and say white women have a slightly idea of what it's like to be oppressed, but not like a full-blown idea.
No, not a full-blown. We only have a slightly. I would say the blue women have it a lot worse.
Thankfully, white men have the thicker skin and can take any criticism whatsoever. We are not fragile in any way.
You are
That's what
so
he tells
fragile.
himself.
Are you calling me
How
fat?
dare you call me fragile? Oh my God!
This is not my podcast.
Take it back!
You're so mean. Triggered. You don't like my man. You should like me. Did Cassandra deserve her fate?
To die. That was brutal. The Doctor just lets her die.
She did it to herself.
She did explode quite wetly for
Yeah.
someone who was drying
Dry,
out,
yeah.
which
Well,
was
I
a bit
suppose-
confusing.
The blood? I don't know.
Well,
She was having her blood bleached.
right.
So it was her
next
skin
week.
that was drying out, not the blood.
I'd say if you're you're a bitchy trampoline, right?
Yeah.
I still love that thing that
Yeah.
Rose calls it. And you must, when your skin's dry, it tightens.
Yeah.
So you imagine you just.
It pulls
Well, yeah,
apart.
she's just clamped onto stuff, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Davros would, if you pulled him out over a trampoline. He's very
And
dry.
bounced on him.
I'd like to.
A bitchy trampoline as opposed to a normal trampoline, which is just fucking evil.
yeah.
But not bitchy.
No.
Yeah.
If you put Adam on one, apparently it will become a bitch and trip.
It'll just break, and I'll be like, yeah, I know, all right. Fuck you, I'm going to KFC.
And that's the
I'm going to have a
bitchy.
crispy Stewart.
Crispy
Crispy steward meal, yeah.
Your regular, sir?
Yeah.
I think for me with the Cassandra thing, more than anything, this is one of those episodes where I got to see a little bit more of the Doctor. So I got to see him dancing and being silly. I got to see him a little bit lovey with Jabe, which we haven't talked about yet. And then I got to see his dark side when he's angry. So, I kind of thought I don't know.
Cassandra, you will dry out. You know it to be true.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was brutal. In the last
But did she deserve it?
well, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
I'm a bit confused as to what her end game was. She was just trying to blow up everyone because...
No, she was...
Money.
Yeah, she was setting up a hostage situation.
Right.
And she was going to be one of the hostages.
Okay.
And then the...
Doctor ruined it.
The repeated meme would have taken the money and basically just given it to her.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
But wouldn't they have been destroyed too?
Yeah,
Considering they were just...
No, they were going to be hostages and she was going to make sure that they got out.
They would have got the ransom and like teleported away or something.
Yeah, but then she had stocks in all their rival companies, so she didn't mind if they all died. So
Because as we all know, when the CEO of a company dies, their company just goes bust. No one else takes over.
No.
happens all the
Yeah.
time.
Oh.
Yeah. Apple. Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Apple has decreased in price since
Yeah.
Steve Jobs left us.
They'll never survive.
No.
Never.
No.
It just, I don't know. I mean, I know she had a plan, and as she said, it's very expensive to look this way.
Right.
Why you would want to look that way is beyond me.
Okay.
I think that's the joke, though.
Yeah.
I think her reasons, because they didn't have much left in the episode, like at that point where they had to reveal who the bad guy was. And it was kind of just like, haha, this is a funny thing. She, it's a celebrity thing. She just needs it for plastic surgery and blah, 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 It's not like a real motive that someone would actually, because the insinuation is that she's rich anyway.
Yeah, well, I thought so.
But it's kind of like, it reminded me of that Burn After Reading.
I love that.
Where, what's her name's character is like...
Frances
McDormand's character is constantly trying to get money to do the
Plastic surgery.
surgery.
Me too.
And like it ends up being like a bunch of people die just because she wanted the plastic surgery.
Which she gets.
Which she gets. Yeah, so it was
that
like,
movie.
that's such a good movie. But yeah, so it does seem like a realistic premise.
Yeah, you've never really wanted plastic surgery as much as some people
No,
have.
I don't understand people
I
who
don't
want
understand
plastic.
it
Yeah, I
either,
just don't
but-
understand it.
No, but I mean, we were talking about it yesterday with Andrew Dawson about he'd just seen a lot of beautiful young women with lips too big and, cheeks too high, and they look 40.
Yeah.
Why did he do that?
Oh, just looking on the internet.
No, he said it was down on the Gold
It
Coast.
was at the Gold
Oh,
Coast.
Oh,
Gold
yeah, that's
Coast.
right.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
But it was a different side to the Doctor, because I obviously seen this episode before, and I thought when Rose says, please don't let her die, I thought he saved her. I thought he reversed it and saved her. And then she dies, and I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
It is really
And I
brutal.
think, they kind of put this danger into the Doctor. Like, the Doctor could kill you. Or at least stand by and not give
Not
you
help
the
you.
support you need. because
Everyone dies, Dave.
Yeah, everyone dies. In 10 billion years in the future, Cassandra's going to be dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it makes sense as to why she's out to get him later on.
Oh, yeah,
Because she
definitely.
did let him die.
Yeah.
So there are a few things that we learnt that we didn't know before. Bad wolf.
In one scene, one of the characters goes, oh, it's a bad wolf scenario.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
No, that's fine.
No,
Okay.
it's a big
In this
story
episode,
arc.
you're not supposed to.
Okay.
We find out that the Doctor was in a war because we didn't know that.
Right.
So the moment... So we haven't discussed him hooking up with the tree or wanting to hook up with the tree.
I did
Right.
want to get to that.
But the moment where she goes, I've scanned you,
Yeah.
and I'm so sorry, and Christopher Eccleston is on the
Cried.
verge of tears, I
Yeah.
was like, oh shit, that's why you get Christopher Eccleston to do the
Yeah.
first series of When You Come Back, because
Right.
he's an established actor and
He's
Yeah.
going
can
to
do that
actually
sort of
be
thing.
able to
Yeah.
do that stuff. Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
There's two things that what I called my really big moments. I thought that was one of them. When she talks about it and you can see that it really affects him. So I really like that. And for us, we didn't know anything about a war either.
Right.
So it wasn't from classic Who.
Okay.
So it was all new. We know that his planet burned. We know he's the last of the Time Lords.
But the bit at the end where he's like, it reveals all that to Rose, and she's like, I want chips.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Am I boring you with the history of my destruction of my people?
Yeah. It does seem a bit strange. Doesn't
Let's go
it?
get some genocide chips, shall we? Fantastic.
So my whole family was killed, and
Order up.
I need a sundae.
Yeah.
Does anyone want a sundae? But I did.
Sunday, bloody Sunday. Anyway,
To be fair, I would just want to eat chips if
Yeah.
something like that happened to me. So
I just eat chips anytime.
yeah, I'd be like, okay, cool, this is my life now.
yeah,
So,
you're gonna die. Can I have chips?
yeah.
welcome 5 billion years in the future. Are there chips here? Well, there's a chip-like entity. Can I eat
I'm
them?
out.
Oh, no, it's illegal.
I'm
Oh,
out.
okay.
I'm
Let's go
out.
back to 100 years in the future.
So I thought that that and the relationship between Jabe and the Doctor, the tree and the Doctor, I actually believed that.
I don't know. It progresses so far that like within half an hour of meeting him, she's like, "Yeah, I'll die for you. That's cool."
Yeah, I felt like a lot of the stuff in this episode, and perhaps this is just me being a picky pants, but it just like suddenly he's crying, suddenly he's laughing, suddenly he's in love, suddenly this, and there doesn't seem to be like a real thread to pull him through. And I think that that's the danger of having a character who can be anything, do anything, be anywhere, and have anything.
Yeah.
Is that there's no sort of motivation. And I think that that's what makes Rick and Morty so brilliant is that, Rick knows it.
Yeah.
So he gives zero fucks about all the things, right? And I think that, like, the fact that the Doctor still has emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it really, the classic Doctor Who, he was there, he would turn up just to go for a visit.
Right.
And there'd always be something going on.
Yeah.
And he gets involved, and he's always been for the little people, and he
Right.
fights evil, and but he doesn't plan to do it.
Right.
He just turns up, and there it is.
Right.
But yes, this Doctor, he hasn't found
Kind of
his
more on
level
purpose.
for me yet. Yeah.
There's this thing earlier in the episode where Rose goes, "Oh, is this what you do? You come in and save the planet?" And he's like, "No, that's it. The planet's
Yeah.
I'm not
gone.
gonna save it."
I'm
Yeah.
not doing anything." And it's only when he and Rose are in danger that he goes, "Oh shit, I actually have to do something now."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he said everything has its time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says that about Cassandra too.
Yeah.
But I liked Jabe very much. I loved
yeah,
the
it's a
makeup.
great character, yeah.
I loved the character. I don't know. I mean, just typical that you're going to go and make friends with someone who's made of wood who can burn.
Yeah.
I just think maybe the Doctor could have held it and Jabe could have tried to go through or something.
Yeah.
I feel like she would kind of get sick of me just making the same joke all the time, like, "You gave me a Woody." She's like, "All right, we're done."
Okay.
But they show her with
Which is why you're not the Doctor.
with the tentacles before, like shooting
Yeah.
and getting the
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Why doesn't she shoot the tentacles down along
Yeah.
the floor
Yeah,
and turn
why
it
don't
off?
she just
Yep.
do that to hold the thing down? And she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'll come with you."
Yeah.
Yes, so many things that could have happened.
Yeah.
I didn't want her to die, but I knew she would.
But if she went through like the fans, maybe it would be like going through a wood chipper.
Oh. But then she could be like on your garden, ornamental. I don't know.
She could like break out into like a few hundred pieces and then
yeah.
like make little tiny
Yes.
versions
Yeah.
of herself, like
And
like Groot. Yeah.
And again, she had the tentacles, so she could just shoot it, around
Yeah.
the thing and go, anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, why do you put an important switch in the hardest place ever?
Yeah, I really feel like, honestly, as a writer looking
a
at
sci-fi
this,
show.
Yeah.
it's just such a, like, I didn't care.
Yeah, yeah, and
I
that's
didn't
the
care
problem.
at all. Like, the whole time I knew, okay, well, he's going to live, Rose is going to live, a couple
Yeah.
people are going to die. Oh, this tree girl's going to deaths die.
Yeah.
Because it's like that thing I was saying where it's like you lose your virginity and
Yeah.
you die.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're in love with the Doctor, you're in love with, William Shatner, you're
Yeah.
out
Yeah. You're
for
dead.
sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, Rolling Stone gathers no moss. So he can't afford to, you know what I mean? Like the next episode, she's like a nagging shrew. Are you going into the TARDIS again? How many times have I said you can't go to the TARDIS without me? I'm so
Don't
sick of it.
disappear for a month and
You
then
keep
come back
coming
and say
back
everything's
blue.
fine.
You keep coming back blue, okay? I know what you're doing.
I found blue on your collar again.
Yeah.
Are you visiting the steward?
I know what
Are
you're
you
doing.
visiting the steward?
Did you give them permission to talk?
Why do you look like a blue-tongued lizard?
Yeah, that's it. There's a lot of jobs that he would need to do around the house before he could get in the TARDIS
Exactly.
and go for a
Yeah.
ride.
Exactly.
Or maybe if you didn't keep, shedding your bark all over the place. Yeah. Oh, it's about that, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't help that. I already told you I'm getting cream.
my grandfather's coming over. Don't we have a clipping of your grandfather?
Already?
It's different. It's different.
I'm sick of your family always coming and never leaving, rooting down for like 150 years.
They
Just because your
sit down
family
and-
is dead and they're gone, your planet is gone.
Oh, you always like to bring that one out, don't you? You just want to go for the jugular every time.
Oh, sure, the war. Let's mention the war again, shall we?
yeah.
And that is the domestic life of the Doctor.
Of the Doctor, yeah.
And Jabe.
Yeah, exactly. Played it
Character
out.
that's dead.
It's never much fun. Never much fun.
Tune in next week for Doctor and Tree Wife. Coming to a station near you.
Did you cut the shrubs? That was my cousin.
They were visiting. Now they're dead.
You pruned too hard. You always have. Okay, how about the fact that nobody was watching as the Earth blew up?
Yeah, that seems pretty typical.
No one cared.
Nobody
really
would be
cares.
watching. Why would anyone watch the Earth blow up anyway? Everybody's on the Earth and it's blowing
Yeah,
up.
because Rose brings up like, oh, wouldn't that take like a long time? And he's like, oh yeah, totally. But here's a convoluted reason why we can be at this exact moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, we don't know that that's going to happen. It's just
a classic Earth and it's been
Yeah.
rearranged and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know.
And they didn't even have to do that. She could have said, wow, all the continents are different. Yeah, because it's been 500 billion years.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, no, we've got to make it. Like,
Maybe
they didn't even
classic
show
Earth.
it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it would be just as easy to render
Yeah.
an Earth that doesn't look similar to Earth as
Yeah.
it would to render
Yeah.
an Earth. So
I don't know why, but anyway.
The only reason they'd have a classic Earth would be if they were going down and being like, ooh, check this out.
Yeah,
it's all
this
gonna
looks
be blown
very
up
similar.
soon, you know?
Yeah. Which, I mean, would be an episode that I'd be more interested in, to be honest.
In the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
Yeah.
there's the restaurant at the end of the universe.
Yeah.
Where
Oh, I
basically
love that.
It's basically just the Earth exploding over and over again. It's like dinner theatre.
Yeah.
Because that's where the money would be.
Yeah.
Just watch it over and over again.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I also love the animal that wants you to eat it.
Yes.
It's just the best thing. That is so good. He goes, I'll just snip out and shoot myself. And Arthur Dent's like,
into self-mutilation.
And he goes, don't worry, I'll be humane. I just love that line so much.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know if it's budget restrictions or what.
Oh, probably.
But the idea
Oh,
behind it is like, in Lord of the Rings, when like Gandalf comes back and you've just read like 4,000 years of Treebeard telling you about things that have happened to trees.
Yeah.
And then Gandalf comes back and he's like, yo, I just fought so many peeps and everybody died. It was like super fantastic and amazing. And I'm just going to tell you about it.
Yeah.
So cool. I had to read Treebeard's like 10,000 poems, but I don't get to actually read what happened with Gandalf. And it's the same thing with this. Is like, we're not going to like go down to earth and really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about to die. And that seemed like that was the theme. Appreciate what you have.
Yeah. Well, I thought so, but it just, I'm with you. I didn't enjoy it the first time around, didn't enjoy it the second.
I love in Lord of the Rings. It took me several times to read that book, and basically there's all this walking, and then there's a bit where it's like 6 months later, and I was like, what?
What?
Yeah.
What goes? What?
Why do we have to listen to the walking?
Yeah. I'm terrible when I read a novel. I skip through
I skip too.
the description.
Oh, right.
Yep.
And this is what the place looked like. Yep. Action.
Yeah.
I usually have to go back because I'm terrible with names, and then I'll be like,
Me too.
who's that character? And I'll go back and I'll be like, I had to do that with Game of Thrones because Jesus Christ, half those books are friggin'
Yes.
this person is related to this person. And I was like, just tell me their
Who
name.
you're talking about.
I don't care about who they're related to. I just want to know their name.
Yeah.
And I only want to know their name if
Yeah.
they're going to continually be mentioned from now on.
Yeah, it's like the Bible. And
Yeah.
he begat, who
Yeah.
begat,
There's
who
a lot of
begat, who
begatting.
begat. I don't care. Is Arya in this bit?
Yeah.
Who begat Arya and where is she?
Yeah.
When does Jesus get back to Winterfell?
Spoiler, Dobby dies.
You're welcome.
What? Dobby dies?
Dobby dies.
Spoiler: Jesus dies.
He did.
And
Oh
then
no!
rose again.
For our sins, people. For our sins.
He came back. It's okay.
Aw,
It's okay.
came
It's
back.
okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jesus. That's all right, Adam.
It's like my dog, but he was like a different color.
Yeah.
My mom was like, "No, it's the same dog."
Oh, it's like, but that's like Gandalf. He went away. He became a different wizard.
Yeah. You were like,
your
wait.
dog was a different wizard.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just a different.
You're like,
wizard.
you've read Lord of the Rings, haven't you?
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
Poochie. This is Poochie the White.
Yeah.
Poochie the white as Poochie the black.
Wow, this dog can actually be around cars and survive.
For a bit. Otherwise, then we have to go with Poochie the blonde.
I must go now. My planet needs me.
Rumors, Russ.
Okay, so at the time of broadcast, this episode featured the most extensive use of CGI yet seen on Doctor Who.
And most of the special effects budget for the whole series was spent on this one episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It shows.
Yeah.
It shows in not only this episode, but in
Future
other
episodes.
episodes.
and all the other ones where the CGI is really not
Video
very
game
good.
characters.
Yeah. It's like in Game of Thrones. This isn't a real spoiler, but in Game of Thrones, it's like at one point they're talking about bringing in elephants, and then they're like, "Oh no, man, we couldn't."
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't get
couldn't
those
get 'em.
elephants.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, where did your budget go?
Yeah. Well, that's putting in castles, because if you've
Yeah.
ever seen, like, oh, this is where Game of Thrones was filmed, and you're
Yeah.
like, well, where's the castle? Oh, it's CGI.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't
it's
exist.
straight up CGI.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, none of it exists. How hard would it be to act in that, right?
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
go for Winterfell! And you're like in, like, Starbucks is across the street.
Yeah. My favorite is like the from the green screen photos
Yeah.
from like Jurassic Park, where
Yeah.
it's like just a head on a thing, and they're like, "Oh no, it's a scary monster."
Yeah.
It's like dish.
That was the
dish.
same with Cassandra. They had just the trampoline came out. They didn't have any of the CGI
Face on it, yeah.
Yeah, so they just had to talk to this empty
Trampoline.
Yeah, empty frame, which was a shopping trolley that they'd converted. And the actress who played Cassandra,
Zoe Wanamaker.
yeah, oh, I love her.
Yeah.
She couldn't be there that day, so another lady had to read the lines for her, for them. So, but they had to act to, and I mean, they do a lot with just green screen and a tennis ball.
Yeah.
You know, imagine.
Acting is hard.
Yeah.
I know.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. You know?
Yeah.
You know.
It's
It is
hard.
hard.
It's not easy.
It's hard to be terrified of a tennis ball.
Yeah.
Unless that tennis ball killed your family.
Yeah.
Well,
What?
that's true.
And then you have to kill it and all of the balls.
Maybe that's what they should be doing with the CGI budget, is just like not making it to be this like rack of a trampoline is the bad guy. It's just a tennis ball.
That'd be great.
It's like a terrifying tennis
They told
ball.
them, like, oh, it's going to be a dinosaur, and then you see the actual movie and it's just a tennis ball.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
They're so afraid.
We ran out of money.
Yeah.
So we left the tennis
Couldn't
ball
get
in.
those elephants. Too bad on the they don't travel
Yeah.
so well.
You dubbed over all my lines. Oh, we had budget for that.
Yeah, we had
Oh,
budget.
definitely.
We had budget.
You really screwed up those takes.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll never have you in our Wimbledon movies again.
Wimbledon. Balls of death.
Balls of death.
Oh, God.
That would be good. And then we can just put Kyriakis in it. He's fairly scary to watch when he throws a bit of a turn. So
Now you've reached the final boss, a giant tennis ball.
damn it.
Yeah, I just I didn't care.
Yeah.
I thought
Okay.
the structure. I'm not someone who would normally like this kind of show, because I get incredibly bored incredibly quickly with formulaic structure.
Yeah.
And I think it's being a writer. It's clear to me that it's just like do this, and then I get very bitter and angry that people got paid to do that, and I'm struggling to pay my rent.
Yes.
So yeah, I think for me it feels like there was bits and pieces that I enjoyed. Like there was a couple bits that I laughed at, which I liked. I really like the actor of the Doctor. I really like him. I will always despise the older man, pretty girl
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
trope. It's so boring, and it's just like it just perpetuates this idea that it's fine to be a 50-year-old man and hanging out with a 20-year-old girl, and in real life that would just be
Well,
bananas.
It's even worse because the character is 900 years old.
Yeah.
Right. And that's fine, but even like, okay, well then do you reckon he could look 20? Do you
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
if he's
yeah,
that
yeah.
old, you
Yeah.
know? Couldn't he have a 45-year-old woman who wants to hang out
Oh,
with
yeah,
him?
yeah, definitely.
Right? So that annoys me. But I think the structure is interesting in Doctor Who in that it doesn't have reasons for half the stuff that it does.
yeah.
Like the weird plumber girl. She didn't have to exist. The just a bunch of the bits and pieces almost just seem thrown in for no reason. And there could have been a tighter, more eloquently written script. And I think I say that also because Rick and Morty exists now.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's kind of the same concept, a similar concept with an awareness of itself that lends it to be very interesting. And also, it has the same problems, which is like you could do anything. He's omnipotent, right? Rick is omnipotent and he's a god, but still you care.
Yeah.
You care because you care about the people who aren't omnipotent. I did not care about Rose in any way.
I didn't either in this. I didn't
yeah.
like her character in this.
Yeah, it was just like, she's just a rando who's just showed up to do this stuff and is sort of reacting somewhat normally, at least. But at the same time, it's just like, he will save her. So, there's no...
Yeah. And there is that. I mean, if you're a classic Who fan, you know companions have died. I knew she wasn't going to die.
Well, she was brand
season.
new. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was like, he met her last episode,
Yeah.
so they're not going to kill her off right away.
But it is. I've found watching this, and I hate to say this about Russell T Davies because he is a great writer, but I think this first season, maybe he was just playing it really, really safe for the BBC.
Or maybe he didn't have the budget, or maybe he didn't have the...
And I don't know if he had the support because
Absolutely.
They had it off the air for however many years and still owned it and weren't putting it on. But next season is much better. Still got its
It was only
problems.
after this episode aired that they actually, BBC commissioned the Christmas special and season 2.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was only after this, so obviously the season had been made. They didn't even know they were going to get a season 2.
Right.
This could have been the only season of Doctor Who
Yeah.
for like another 20 years.
That would have been sad.
And see, I'm not blaming the writer. I can see
yeah.
that there is like a lot of things happening around being a writer. It's the same thing with Game of Thrones. You know, everybody is bitching about the idea that this last season is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like writers don't have any say unless they are the creators of this thing.
Yes.
So he wasn't the creator of Doctor Who. So
No.
he's not going to be able to come
No.
in and do anything. So he's being given a brief and then a budget. And from there, he has to make
But he was a
allowances.
huge fan.
Yeah.
Like he grew up watching it.
Right.
That's what kind of interested me about it. Like I love the fact you've got a piece in your comedy set about, you know, if you love Star Wars, you grow up to be this. If you love Star Trek, you grow up to be this. If you love Doctor Who, you grow up to write for Doctor Who.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
yeah,
Or
which
do
is-
a podcast about it.
Yeah. So he was a big fan. So I don't know. But for me, I kind of think I just want to get through this series to get to the next one to start reviewing.
Yeah, Right. yeah.
And I feel bad because I do like Christopher Eccleston very much. Anyway, I'm like that too. So, Adam?
I have to keep reminding myself that this season was made in the mid-2000s and not the 90s.
Yeah.
Because this
feels 90s.
This feels like a Buffy episode.
It
like
does.
It's Monster of the Week. It's like their bread and butter, and it's basically, you know, it doesn't serve the overarching storyline of the season. It's just, okay, this happens, you know, let's move on to the next episode. And the next episode will be another standalone story where it doesn't have anything to do with anything else. And we get little bits and pieces of the Doctor, and some of the things just feel like padding, like the blue plumber. It's just like, oh, she has to die so we can see that they're evil. And
there doesn't seem to have a social commentary to each episode as well, which I think we're used to now
Yes,
in
true,
what we're
yeah.
fed or what we've been given.
Yeah.
But at the time, that wasn't what it was. But it feels like it's lacking that core fundamental, what are you trying to say? What's
Yeah.
the point
Yeah.
of this?
Yeah.
And some things like when the Doctor's like, oh, you guys think you're going to be killed by global warming. Don't worry about it. Doesn't work when we live in an era where denying that global warming exists is a career path now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, don't worry about it, you survive.
Yeah.
But yeah, me too.
So as we like to do, we like to give the episode a score out of 5,
Right.
1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. I'll start. Like I've said, it's just a generic Doctor Who episode. I'm just going to give it a 3,
Yeah, what did I give Dalek?
3.5.
All right, I'm going to give this one 2.
Would you consider that higher than the Sarunga Conundrum?
Oh, yeah, I would. Oh, yes, I would. So, yeah, it's only a 2 out of 5 from me. I didn't enjoy it the first time, and I didn't enjoy it the second time. So there were more things I picked up, and there were, you know, but sometimes you watch it and you go, you don't like it, and then you come back a few years later and you go, oh, what was wrong with me? I loved that.
Yeah.
You know.
This is the opposite.
Yeah.
It's like we loved it when we first watched it, and then you come back to it and you're like, oh, actually, now knowing how good the series gets,
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
yeah,
actually,
it's really
this wasn't
hard,
great.
isn't it? All right, now, Jasmine,
what's your score out of 5?
I've never seen another one,
That's
so
fine.
it's hard to judge. But I'm going to give it a 2 as a show.
Well, you didn't care, and
No.
I think, and it only gets extra points because I like Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah, it gets extra. Is that the Doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Yeah.
yes.
It's
Yeah.
interesting that looking back at it now, because this series obviously was the first series after a break of almost 20 years, and so was designed to try and get new Whovians, because you couldn't just have old Whovians come in, because most of those
Yeah, it was
either
20 years.
might not have liked the new changes to the format, or might not
you
be
know, they
interested
wouldn't
anymore.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and reviewing it, you know, when we've done episode 1 and this one, it feels like the quality of these series isn't as good as it gets.
Right.
So it's so strange that this first series, which was designed to get more Whovians in, isn't a great one to try and get more Whovians in.
Well, that's only in comparison,
Yeah,
though. Like
yeah, I know.
if you watch the first season of Game of Thrones, you're like, ugh, man, they have like zero budget, right?
But I mean, still, that first episode of Game of Thrones has some hooks in it.
Yeah,
that
but
you're
that's the
like,
writing.
Oh shit!
That's writing,
Yeah.
and
And I got to tell you, it took me 5 probably 5 episodes to get into Game of Thrones. I kept going, I could go either way, and then I was right, and I was hooked.
Oh, okay. For me, it was the first episode.
Oh,
At the
yeah,
end
no.
of that first episode, I was like, oh, shit.
Oh,
Damn,
really?
son.
Yeah.
I'm in.
No, it still took me a few, but I'd love to have been the person who came up with the idea of Doctor Who, you know, because you can change your main character, you can go anywhere, do anything. It's a great idea. I don't know whether they always use it to the best of their ability, but as we've always said, the BBC is very stingy. Every year we don't know if Doctor Who will be back on.
Yep.
They make us feel really bad. No matter how great the ratings are, we always get to feel like it's not going to
Well,
work.
I mean, that's the thing. You know, in my joke, I talk about Star Trek and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well, they're owned by huge movie companies that pump a lot of money into them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get some high quality films and you get some high quality people. But the BBC is just like, maybe we'll split a season over 2 years instead of 1 year.
Yeah, like they were doing that with Sherlock,
Yeah.
right? They
Yeah.
had like 3
Yeah.
episodes of Sherlock in a season. I mean, they were movie-length episodes, but at the same time, it's like, who knows when they'll come out?
Yeah,
Right.
I know. And then they always make you feel like it's not going to happen. I mean, they've had some great guests. So we've had Alan Cummings and we've got Alex Kingston and we've got some great doctors
But
coming.
then at the same time, they've had to take a year off, probably because they're paying, you know.
Yeah, John Hurt.
Yeah, John Hurt and,
Derek
you know, that sort of thing.
Jacobi,
And, you know, they're trying to make more money from the merchandise before, oh, hey, here's another season, you know.
Anyway, so it's been a bit sad and depressing coming back here, but to this season. But
We will
anyway,
continue to do it for
we
you, our
will.
listeners.
We will. And actually, I'd like to know what any of our listeners thought of the end of the world. Send us your reviews.
Either the episode or the concept.
Yeah.
If you believe that the end of the world is coming, please let us know.
yeah. We won't sell anything, but we'll be a little prepared.
Well, because I love to laugh at nutters. I love it when there's those like cults that think that's the end of the world, and then they come back and they're like, "Oh, hey, you know how I said it was going to happen on Wednesday? I forgot to carry the 1.
Yeah,
It's gonna be,
Turns out the 7 was a 9.
yeah, it's 3 months from now."
Are
And
you
you're like,
calling our D4WH fan crazy nutters?
No.
if they believe in the end of the world, maybe.
I'm sorry.
Maybe not
listeners.
now that, you know, anyway.
Yeah. Just cut that, would you? Now, Jasmine,
Cut the whole
everybody,
episode.
anything that Adam said, just get rid of his track. So, which will sound weird while Jasmine's just yelling at nothing.
But on brand.
Fairly normal.
Good to know.
I've seen you do comedy.
Just lots of yelling.
All right, so Jazz,
Yeah.
anyone who's on the podcast, even if you're not a Whovian,
Yeah.
you have to have a Time Lord name.
Okay.
Your Time Lord name has to be, you know, like the Doctor. The Doctor is the Doctor because he wants to help. And so it can be something that you think embodies who you are.
Right.
Or maybe it's something that you strive for.
Okay.
So the something.
Can it be the hot mess?
You can be the hot
The
mess.
hot mess.
I think that's...
I like that.
It's something I strive for and something I am. So
Who's that? That's the hot mess. Is
Oh,
she
God.
here to help? Who knows?
it depends on the day.
I don't know. She's a hot mess. We'll just work it out as it goes along.
The fact that she showed up is a pretty big deal.
She'll probably do something now because she's here.
Well, she's made it worse. All right, cool.
Cool.
Right. If you could just go back in the TARDIS now.
I think that's the quickest we've ever had someone with a Time Lord name.
Oh, yeah?
That's fantastic.
Yeah, well,
I'm very self-aware.
That's because Jasmine is a woman and we are very clever and quick.
Oh, is it? Wait, am I supposed to
My
say...
name was Hot Mess, so
Yeah,
that'll
yeah.
indicate something there.
No, I was just looking at you like, just you represent all men for me right now
Wow.
when I
Is
say
this
that.
what it feels like when women get looked at? Oh, wow. I tell you what, I love it.
I love it. I don't know why anybody gets so mad.
I'm always looking at you telling you how pretty you are.
Yeah. My lovely man bumps. My lovely Dalek bumps.
So send in your fan fictions.
Yes. Sending you fan fiction and artist drawn.
Fan art.
Me with Dalek bumps.
Yes.
And that's it for another episode. Thank you so much for joining us, Jazz. It's
Thank
a
you
pleasure
for having
you.
me.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to plug?
She will have a billion things to plug.
5 billion years of things to plug.
5 billion years, and I'm dead already.
Inside.
So I have a podcast with a future
Oh, yes.
Whovian coming
Yep.
on. Her name is
Yes.
Kira. We've got a podcast. It's incredibly inappropriate. It's called Show Us Your Tips.
It's very funny.
Show Us Your YER Tips. And it's about Kira and I going through and dissecting a list of tips, 29, I think, tips on how to get a man that we found from the McCall's magazine in 1950.
Fantastic.
It is so funny.
Is the first one be able to cook?
No, but one of them is get a sunburn.
Get a sunburn?
They're batshit. It's so wonderful. So basically, Kira and I just get drunk and go into my closet and...
No, they literally do get in a closet.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's my closet. Yeah. And so, yeah, there's that. You can like my Facebook page, Jasmine Fairbairn Comedian, and that'll tell you more of the bits and pieces that I've got going.
And have you got a show coming up for Bris Funny Fest?
I've got a few in the works, as Adam is well aware, because he had to prompt me to do what I should have done about a month ago. And none of them are anything.
Okay, well, we'll promote them when the episode comes out.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Yes. So whenever you do something, we'll make sure that we promote you as well.
Yep. Nicchia?
No, just at the moment, all in. And same with me, Nicchia Shit Comedy, when I've got a gig or something coming up.
As always, you can follow Adam O'Sullivan Comedian on Facebook and visit thenerdinfinite.com. Please also check out brisfunnyfest.com. It's a fantastic comedy festival in Brisbane. It's coming up very soon.
And Adam helps put it all together.
That's why I'm promoting it.
And he works very bloody hard.
I work sometimes.
I don't know. I wouldn't do it.
I spend most of my time sending emails being like, I spend most of my time doing updates that no one reads. Anyway.
I just see things from Adam and delete them now.
So do I. D4WH is on Facebook. Give our page a like for updates and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D4WHpod. We'll post questions and polls and would love your input and feedback. Rate and review us on iTunes, recommend us on Facebook and follow us on Podbean. We are also now available on Spotify and Stitcher. Help us get the word out. Tell your friends about us. And if you see someone on the street wearing a Doctor Who shirt, politely go up to them and suggest our podcast. Get the word out. Now I know sometimes things can seem bleak. It can be scary when the world's against you. But there's one thing that will always be there for you, that will always be willing to fight for what's right, even when those around you are more concerned about their wallets than their planet dying. That thing is Doctor Who. And we as Whovians must stand together and keep fighting for what is right, just like the Doctor does. Thank you and good night from Doctor Who. Until next time, keep searching the skies for the Doctor.
Solidarity, Doctor Who.
Bye.
This has been a production of The Nerd Infinite. And then the sound of dragons spitting fire and stuff. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Hooer.